Hello, everybody. This is the TBK podcast. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Dereck Chisora versus Joseph Parker fight. I believe it was myself and Tunde a few days ago when we done our predictions on the Dereck Chisora Joseph Parker fight. I wouldn't say it turned out exactly how we said it would turn out, but the result, I mean, it was quite similar to how we said it would turn out.
I think I said it perfectly. I think I came out of it near enough.
You think you came out of it perfectly, did you?
Near enough. I did say that in order for Chisora to win, he would have to get onto Parker. He's going to have to rough him up. He did that in the first few rounds, so...
The fight, how I had the fight, I scored the fight 115, 113, Chisora. I had Chisora up by 2 rounds. I kind of feel like because Dereck looked really fatigued, it's almost like he was penalized for the way he looked. And it was like some of his work maybe wasn't accounted for by the judges because maybe Parker looked a little bit more kind of fresher. He looked a little bit more kind of snappy. But Dereck was working his arse off, man. I think it was quite a shame that he didn't actually get the nod on that. And one of the judges had it way too wide for my liking.
That judge needs to be investigated because I don't know what kind of fight he was watching. He
literally had it like 3 rounds or something like that to Dereck. So that basically means, I guess he gave him the first one because that was a knockdown. And I don't know what other round he gave him after that. But he's saying that's literally all Dereck won. And I just can't see how that's possible.
I think it's debatable that he probably won the first 3 or 4 rounds. And that automatically gives him a 5-point advantage. Yeah. So how he can be losing by 5 rounds, according to this judge, is amazing because he definitely won the 12th round.
I had it going into the 12th round. It was like whoever won that round was going to be the one who won it. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And I thought Dereck, I mean, don't get me wrong though, Parker did do good work in the 12th round, but I just felt like Dereck kind of nipped the round off of him. And to be honest, I wouldn't have been mad if Parker got the decision and, you know, by like say, you know, 115, 113 in his favor. I wouldn't have been mad about that. I don't know if it's fair to kind of call it a robbery, just the fact that Parker won, but it's just by how wide he won.
We've got to look at how we, like, as per usual, whenever it comes to decisions, we've got to look at what it's judged on. And we, you know, each judge might look for different things. Now, as far as I'm concerned, no matter how much you heard this guy blowing, he was steaming at the end of every round, yeah? But every round, he showed ring generalship. He kept going forward. Yeah, his work got a bit raggedy towards the end of the fight, as it did against Usyk, yeah? But for me, I think Parker wasn't necessarily, there wasn't enough output from Parker. Yeah, he had a couple of really good rounds and some of his flashes were really good, but I think, was it the 10th or the 9th round when, you know, he drove him back and then stepped off. And literally that was the way he fought the whole fight. He didn't apply enough. He didn't show that he was the fresher man enough, whereas Dereck showed the dog in him every round.
I feel Parker did show he was the fresher man, but I don't feel like he capitalized on that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I don't feel like he done enough work. And I agree with you that Dereck showed a lot of dog in the fight. Yeah, do you know what I mean? The fight went the way it did because of the way how Dereck was pressing the action. Yeah. And he drew Parker into his sort of fight. If you think about Parker in his first 17 fights, the hand speed, the combinations. He couldn't really do no more than 2s and 3s, and he had a couple of bouts where he might have had 1 or 2 spells of those 2s and 3s. But Chisora continuously pressed him, and it can't always be about just getting pressed. It's about what the fight is doing. Yeah, Parker looked slicker. He looked slicker throughout the whole of the fight. He definitely didn't do enough to get a 5-point swing, and I don't know if it was necessarily right that he won the fight in the end. If it was a draw, I wouldn't have been disappointed. If Chisora had won by 2 rounds, I wouldn't have been disappointed. But when you throw in the fact that one of the judges saw him fight better by 5 rounds, it's a very questionable decision. And I don't know. I don't really think that Dereck. I don't really think that they should necessarily go again. I mean, yeah, Chisora's going to win it, but if they're going to go again, I don't think this fight can be pay-per-view headline.
Never again. No.
Yeah, I mean that was going to be my next question. Would you want to see it again? I think I would want to see it again, but it'd probably be on an undercard of another fight. Let's talk about Bivol and Richards.
I think Richard showed that he is well above domestic level. There's a couple things with that fight. One, maybe he was worried about gassing out. I'm not sure, just pacing himself. But he didn't really get going until the 8th, 9th, and I think he's kind of kicking himself, especially with regards to the judges' scorecards. He did do well. He didn't get, he wasn't pushed over by any means by Bivol. But Bivol is somebody who does just enough to win, and he's come off like a 18-month layoff or something like that. Richards has shown enough to for me, definitely to want to see him in those kind of fights. So I'd like to see him kind of push on from there. I felt that he was a little bit, not overawed, but he kind of let Bivol dictate his own pace. And like I said, I mean, he only got a sense of urgency sort of rounds 8, 9, 10. He started like giving back a bit more and attacking the body, which he should have done from the very beginning. If you're going to tire out somebody, you need to start giving him, going to the body from the off. But he did well for himself. I think now he can see for himself that, he belongs at a certain level. Maybe not quite world class, but he's in between. So I'd say he's definitely European, maybe a little bit, maybe slightly higher. He's got the tools to make some noise for himself, but he needs to have a bit more belief and he needs to have more output. Whether that's going to be possible for him, I don't know. I
mean, by no means did Richards, he didn't disgrace himself, but he just wasn't creative enough for me. It's like he kept on doing the same thing throughout the fight. And I feel like Bivol, like I agree with you that Bivol, he does just enough to win. I feel like he kind of figured out from early on that he was kind of way ahead, and he just kind of went on, cruise control, really, yeah?
Yeah, sharp.
Yeah, but Richard, he's just not creative enough. Like he literally kept on just, he pumped a jab, pump a jab, come over with the right hand, pump a jab, double jab, come over with the right hand, all upstairs. Like, and he done that for way too long. Once he started mixing it up a little bit, going downstairs, I'm trying to say, like coming, that's when it started getting a little bit more kind of interesting. But he didn't maintain those spurts for long enough. He was up against Bivol, and Bivol doesn't strike me as at least on that performance anyway. He's not someone who guns for a knockout. He's not someone who guns to, take off his opponent's head. He was happy to just kind of just box and stay safe. If Richard goes up against a killer, I don't know if he's going to see the 12th round, like fighting like that. Like I like him. I don't want to be harsh on him, but I just feel like he wasn't creative enough. That's just my personal perspective. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Morrison.
It was a good little run out for Eubank, but Morrison was never on his level. Eubank's too fit, he's too strong. What I'm really pleased to see is that he has a trainer that he respects. He's actually listened to his trainer. I think he could have gotten him out of there in the second round.
You think?
No, I think he could have gotten him out of there in the second round, but he wanted to get some rounds in. Sometimes that can, thinking like that can bite you in the ass. But overall, it was a cool fight.
It's like I thought there was loads of positives to draw from. Yeah, like that fight was straight after the Richards fight, and there was just so much more variety in Eubank's work compared to, say, someone like Richards. Yeah, like the way how he was like jabbing to the body, he was jabbing to the chest. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? Obviously, when he goes on an attack, he's just crazy in it. He's got like crazy stamina in that. Yeah. I did see the Roy Jones influence. I did see it, like the way how he was kind of posturing, and you know what I mean? I did see shades of it. Like, he hasn't boxed in almost 2 years, and the last time he boxed, he only had like 2 rounds. But for me, it's like, bro, if you can take a man out, I don't want to see you stepping back and doing all that weird shit. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? And it just kind of just left a funny taste in my mouth and that throughout the fight. I just thought, Chris, you could have had like a flawless performance. Yeah, like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Just the same way how Conor Ben went out like the other week, yeah, just demolished the guy, yeah? Like, everyone's singing Conor's praises. If Chris went out there, done what he was supposed to do, get rid of the guy, we might be having a different conversation right now. But although he cruised, I feel like he virtually won everything. But it's just, like I said, it's just the weird Eubank kind of oddities that creep into his performances certain times.
I think that got put into him though, innit? Because Roy Jones kept on saying,
I was just about to say that.
Consistently, we need rounds. He even said it in the post fight. Do you know what I mean? The idea was to get rounds in, and I think I rate Chris for actually fighting the urge to do what he would instinctively do, and that is just go hell for leather. And we know he just starts going crazy when he starts throwing his hands. He goes berserk, the geezer. Roy Jones wanted to make sure that he was working on the stuff that he was putting into action, what they've been working on during this camp. Even in what he was saying to him in between the rounds, it was quite clear that there was a game plan that he tried to stick to. And later on throughout the fight, he started to do what he usually does, which is just throw his hands and just go absolutely crazy, take a step back, come straight back in, throwing his hands all over the place. But I think the later the fight wore on, is the more he had license to do that. The first part of the fight was really about working through what he had been taught.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I don't necessarily knock it. I get where you're coming from, but I think for himself, he had to go through what he had learned, because otherwise, blasting the guy out of there wouldn't have taught us anything. I don't think it would have taught him anything either.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. I wanted to talk about Katie Taylor and Tasha Jonas.
Fight of the night.
I thought that was the fight of the night, man. I thought that was an excellent fight. I thought Natasha Jonas, she put up a valiant effort. I think she started too late though. If she I feel like she was a little bit nervous to begin with, so she seemed really tentative in the beginning of the fight. She seemed really stiff and just not loose to me. But once she kind of found the rhythm, man, she was working Katie's body. She was doing a load of beautiful things, man. She just started too late.
I don't necessarily think she started too late though, because literally the last 2 rounds it was nip and tuck. It could have been anyone's. And I think that's where Taylor showed the championship experience. Taylor's speed again was a factor. I think Jonas, the way she was switching head and body attacks was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, but the thing is, she looked very cumbersome compared to Katie Taylor, and I think the speed won in the end. That actually I'd want to see rerun. But I think Jonas, she worked Taylor really well. I think she gave her more than she had bargained for, and she showed that she belongs at that level. And I want to see her continue to go, even though she's 36. I do want to see her continue at that level, because she's definitely got what it takes.
Jonas has shown that she belongs at that level. I echo what David said. She works Katie's body quite well. Taylor, her output is mad. She will put together 3, 4, 5, 6 punch combinations, and she will keep on doing it. The way she just goes on in terms of the championship rounds, she knows exactly what she's doing. It was a really great fight, and I'd like to see it again.
Excellent. All right, well, I mean that's it, man. It was a good. I thought it was a good card from Matchroom. I know a lot of people complained that it was pay-per-view, but I mean, if I was to score the card, I'll give it maybe a 6 out of 10, something like that. I don't know if that's fair. Would you agree? 6 out of 10, guys?
Yeah.
To be honest, I saw the last 3 fights. So I'd give it about a 7.5. To be fair, I never saw the earlier fight.
Yeah, 7.5.
Right? I saw 3 what I thought were really good fights.
Yeah.
So that's what I gave it.
All right, excellent. Okay, then cool. So that's it. This is myself, LL, David, Sunday. This is the TBK podcast. Take care.
Later.
And this is the TBK podcast.